welcome back. I'm assuming everybody before they click on this video have watched all these movies and have enjoyed the thorough ride like the rest of us. Doubtful. Some housekeeping to do on top. Multiplex housekeeping. Next Monday we'll be live for Act 2 recap of what happened and what Act 3 will be. Again, TV Chronicles comes out Thursday. Top row right now. Mark, Matt, myself going through The Shield, The Wire, not Shield, The Wire, Sopranos, and Mad Men. Had a flashback. And we'll do the season finale of Last of Us this Thursday. So join us, talk with us, tell us if we're right, wrong, have some fun. On that note, this is Roundtable, and I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. This is my least favorite lineup I've ever had on this show, and I've had some doozies. Some bold picks. One of these people say that I hate comedies and then picked a comedy to test that theory, and I think they may be right. I'm 100%. You know what? I'm going to stand down. That board might be right that I hate comedies, or people that pick comedies for me. I'm going to go to the person that I normally go to first last because I don't dislike anybody more on this panel right now than the double M, Mark Manjaka. So, first up, Matt, TV Chronicle brother, what did you bring and how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I've watched most of these in the last 2 days, so it's been an experience. And I brought with me Turbo Kid, the cinematic. I don't know if I should say masterpiece, but
throw it around.
We'll talk about it.
You can do it too. Yeah. What was the movie you dropped first and then selected this instead? What was that movie again?
Originally I was going to do a Cold in July because I saw that everyone was kind of like bringing kind of lighter fare, so I was going to bring something a little bit darker. But then Cody made me watch a musical, so I was like, no. Cody doesn't get to watch a good movie.
Spoilers. Next up, Mr. Jack Ford. Again, the people on the panel right now, I want to say this. Some of my favorite people to have on Roundtable. Like, I seek them out to be like, hey, you should come back on. I enjoy talking movies with you. They've decided to pick violence this month. Don't really know why. But here we are. Zach, how are you? What did you bring for us?
I brought also cinematic masterpiece, The Lonely Guy, which I actually just watched for the first time a month ago. I was happy to rewatch it because it's a perfect movie. I honestly didn't think about you at all and how you would be averted to it until while I was watching it. I did think I would appease everyone else. I'm hoping that would be a fan favorite for the rest of the group. But remember the RRR episode where people were just wanted to hear RRR? So you got like so many views. This is the next one, guys. Everyone's tuning in for for all these movies.
The foreign audience is going to knock on the door for Steve Martin.
Kick off.
Well, do you know it's for Mark's movie. Next up, Brian. This is a movie that I've heard. This is like an urban legend in this community. I've heard about this movie. I've heard people rant and rave and like, oh, he made me watch this. You made me finally watch it. How are you and what'd you bring?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back on Roundtable again. I brought a movie that some people really enjoy, some people really hate. A lot of people just have never even given it a chance. So I thought, let's make everybody watch it. At least watch it before they form an opinion on it. And that is 1991's comedy from Sylvester Stallone called Oscar, which is a remake of a 1967 French movie, which is itself a remake of a play from the 50s or something.
I did check IMDb. It does list it as a comedy, so I can agree with you on that.
Okay.
And I picked Chicago, Best Picture winning Chicago. And normally, I've seen this movie before. I've seen the play. So the reason why I picked it is not because I wanted you guys to watch it. There was only one person and one reason why I picked Chicago. It's for Mark Manjaka. I've done this show multiple times with him, and he just throws shit at the wall, makes me relive his childhood with him. And why? I don't know. We watched Space Invaders with him. We had to watch Power Rangers. We watched Spring. He's picked some gems every once in a while. But today, The movie that I saw him drop, I just am so baffled. Why? So I said, if we're gonna keep being a menace, if you're gonna keep doing that 2.5 star bullshit you do every time, you're getting a musical. So you got Chicago. I don't mind Chicago, so I actually was okay to rewatch it. But the blood is on your hands. But what did you bring tonight? And I don't even care how you are, to be honest with you. I hope you're having a good day.
I will say, I think it is funny that you mentioned Power Rangers, because I think after that you asked me to be a new co-host of the show, so you could have stopped the bleeding at first.
Enough French films made Brian quit.
Like, I feel like this is a little bit self-inflicted if you ask me, but whatever. I don't know. I brought a movie that I didn't think a ton of people saw, like back from 2019. I was really interested to get people's take on it. I brought 2019's Motherless Brooklyn. Like, I thought was a fun little.
It's the only one here I haven't seen.
Yeah.
No one should have seen it. Okay, Motherless.
So he's just giving us all his
everybody.
opinions right up front. So.
Everybody, Motherless Brooklyn. Everybody's excited. I didn't even pick the order for this. Don't worry, Motherless Brooklyn's in the middle, so we can just save it. I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off first for mine, with Chicago, because I'm kind of curious what this group overall thinks about it. I'll let Mark do his rant, and then I get to rip into it. So how mean he is, I get to match energy. And I know I started this show. Dylan brought it up on a call after. He's like, "Oh, you picked Roundtable because YLS was too negative, and no one's gonna talk shit on it, and no one's gonna say anything negative. Just pick whatever movies you like." And now I'm just ripping Mark apart for what he picks. It only goes for host, basically. The person that's with me every week can be nice sometimes or mean. So we're gonna start Chicago. I think that Chicago gets a bad rap, because I think it won Best Picture, and I think that's just one that it hurts any film that wins if you disagree with it. I think the musical's fine. I like the music a lot in this, so I have no problem listening to it. Kirk said it's the worst Best Picture winner ever. I just think that's a crazy take. It's just like there's gotta be worse ones out there. But has everybody seen Chicago before I dropped it, or is this first time watch for some people?
It's the first time for me.
Okay, so Matt and Mark, how'd you think of it? What'd you get out of it?
Now there are a lot of bad songs in it, but I don't think any of them would be considered rap. But it's all right. I liked a couple of the song and dance numbers. I really liked the one with Richard Gere and like the Muppets and the marionettes and all that stuff. I liked that one. I actually liked most of the Richard Gere songs, which I thought was weird because I heard that he was horrible in the movie. But musicals aren't really my thing, so I feel like that it had that going against it from the beginning. But I thought there were some good performances in it. I don't know if I'd like the tone of like it pretty much going from like movie to like pretty much on like a play on a stage, like when they would do like the musical numbers and stuff. That was kind of felt a little bit off to me. But overall, I'm never gonna watch it again, but
that's
it's definitely not the worst Best Picture winner.
Fair. Mark, what do you think?
It was the first movie I popped on, and I thought to myself, these are usually not my bag. It's usually whatever, but I'm gonna try really hard to look at it. Honestly, not even to be nice to you, but just to not let you win. I did not want you to win. Unfortunately, you're gonna win because like I can't find I'm sitting here a day after. I can't think of a single thing I like about this movie. It really was just like, first of all, the music, whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, and to me, like, whenever it becomes like the most theatrical and we got like stunts and everybody's flipping people around, and I'm like, okay, like I don't care about this. I don't really care about the artistry of it, and the songs or whatever. I mean, most of them can't sing I mean, I don't know what you mean about like Richard Gere. Like, yeah, the first song, I'm like, this doesn't sound like him. They have to be dubbing in somebody else, and then they have that song where he's like talking and singing. Oh wait, this is actually him. They're just having him do like this weird high pitched voice to kind of hide that he can't really sing. And then after hearing Barr like argue about like the tap dancing thing, and they have to go in on somebody else's feet for I can't unsee it now after Barr brought it up that like, oh, we're using somebody else's legs to tap dance, like. And then we go into the story, and like I think the story's bad. Like I just think it's stupid. Like I can't get into any of it. The only character who I kind of like throughout the movie, even though I just kind of bash the song, is Richard Gere's character. I at least kind of like his like swarmy lawyer character. When he's acting, he's fine. The rest is whatever. I mean, Renee Zellweger, never a huge fan of her. Probably the best singer of the bunch. Like whatever. Catherine Zeta-Jones is just horrific. Like she's never been. I don't think she's been good in anything, and like that doesn't change for Chicago. I mean, but yeah, I didn't want you to win, Cody, but like I sat there just like, I'm really glad I watched this first. Can't get any worse than this.
I don't know about that. So me, Zach, and Brian have seen it. I know me and Brian are more positive on this movie than I don't know where Zach's at. So I'm gonna go to Zach. What was your overall take?
I love Chicago. I was reminded of this like a year ago. I just watched the last half at a hotel. I was like, yeah, this holds up. This rules. It looks great. I know often take is like you don't see the dance moves, but I also like not impressed by dance as a form anyways, but it's still visually striking. So it doesn't matter if you can watch the actors do the moves, but the camera is capturing everything in such a unique and fascinating and just good looking manner. It's his only good movie, but it is at that time period where I was like 12, 13 when it came out, where I was like just seeing adult movies for the first time. And I think this was like the first musical I saw, especially in theaters, that was like edgier. Like my musical knowledge before would have been like Sound of Music and pretty kid-friendly stuff. So I was really struck by that. And Catherine Zeta-Jones is already deep in my heart because I found High Fidelity by that point. But she absolutely runs away with this. Not moving at all for us. All right.
As long as we hear you, I'm fine.
Sorry. Okay. Back to the point, Catherine Zeta-Jones, I think, is absolutely amazing in this movie. And I think Cell Block Tango is like one of my favorite scenes of the decade of the 2000s. I really am just engaged, but also watching Catherine Zeta-Jones just explode near the end of that song is extremely exciting. I think there's three really great musical pieces, going with Gears and also going with Mr. Cellophane, which is a good shining moment for John C. Reilly to step out of the like supporting actor mode that he was in before that. So I will watch Chicago again. Mark's like explosive bullshit was just like completely incorrect, and I think he's just lying. I don't think he actually watched the movie.
He's probably upset they killed off McNulty in like the first 10 minutes.
I was like, I'm in. I saw Dominic West, and I'm like, I'm in, and then he dies immediately. Like,
this guy brought Never Back Down and talked about like it's this unknown masterpiece, and he's like, Catherine Zeta-Jones ain't shit.
So overall, I saw your comment about the private. The comments should be on. I don't know if they are on YouTube or not, but they should be. So when I rewatched this, I love the music. So the music always hit for me. I had no issue with that, and I remember really liking the music. I just haven't seen it in a really long time. So there was kind of a pick it for Mark, but also check it off because I wanted to revisit it. Two things. I've heard for literally since I joined this community, because I haven't seen it since I joined this community. Richard Gere is so horrible, all this blah blah blah. He's not as bad as everybody has said for years. I had no issue really with him. The dance sequence when Barr said it is the most Barr answer I've ever heard ever. Is like, oh, somebody else is tap dancing for him. I was like, I don't care.
Richard Gere didn't learn to tap dance for the movie.
It's like I didn't see his legs, and even if I did, I don't care. Like, the story works fine for me. It's a goofy story. Like, there's no difference. The one thing you said that I just don't understand is I think Catherine Zeta-Jones is by far the biggest standout of this movie. I think she's absolutely incredible in every scene she's in. Like, from the opening number, I also love just like the 20s like setting and everything that's in it. When you said we both reach for the gun, like that sequence is so cool, and they do it so well. Cell Block Tango, all these things just work really well for me. And overall, I was just like, man, I can't believe I forgot that Queen Latifah gives like a fantastic like song number when she shows up. So overall, like I put it off for so long. Don't really know why I did because not surprised that Mark hated it. I didn't think Matt would love it either. But like to say all those incorrect things is just you just being just a sourpuss. Brian, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, you guys have kind of already said everything I was going to say, but I like this musical quite a bit. I do like a lot of musicals. I will say this one, I think I liked all the individual songs and numbers. I do feel like it's very kind of stop and start, like especially anytime a musical number starts, it seems like it comes to a halt. More than most musicals, it doesn't feel like it flows into it, but I think that's just because of the way they presented it, where the musical number is actually done like on stage. It kind of stops and goes to the stage while they do a number. But I do like all the individual numbers, especially Cell Block Tango, Mr. Cellophane. I do like the Richard Gere ones. I agree. I think Catherine Zeta-Jones is probably one of the best things about this movie. So I was a little surprised by that comment. I thought she was very good. I also have never really liked Renee Zellweger, though. I mean, she's fine in this role, but I probably would have liked almost anyone else in it because it's just something about her little face I just can't stand. But I mean, overall, I do enjoy the movie. It's not like one of my favorite musicals of all time or anything. I could have made it even worse for Mark because I was considering picking another Catherine Zeta-Jones musical, Rock of Ages, to make you guys watch, and he would have really hated that one. So
if you've not seen Rock of Ages and you watch Chicago, let me tell you, night and day, buddy, night and day. He actually might have liked that one more because it's songs he recognizes.
Or he would like
it's
Tom Cruise,
just
I
as
think.
bad. Like, no, it wouldn't be. It's just as bad.
Did you see it?
I have seen it. It's awful.
They're not comparable. Stop.
It's awful. They're both bad.
I mean, one of them is a Best Picture winner. So,
yeah. Oh, and as far as the Best Picture winner thing, was it Kirk you said that? I don't get. I was just glancing at just the 2000s and 2010s alone of like those 20 movies. Chicago is better than like 3/4 of them. So there's a lot of Best Picture winners in the 2000s and 2010s. Just saying.
The Best Picture. I think that's the one thing that really hinders it. It hinders any movie that wins it. It's just like, unless you were like a runaway, makes sense. Rob Marshall as a director is a really interesting choices, and I know like this is by far I would consider, by looking at him, his best movie. I haven't seen Memoirs of a Geisha, so I don't really. That might be better, but
coming soon to Roundtable.
He never found like his own distinct style. Like his style was just musicals, but they're all very different. And I think this works because he's just ripping off Fosse, who did have a creative play in the original production of Chicago. But he's just doing Fosse, and since he's a good mimicker in this of that style, and that's probably why I love it, because I also just love that Fosse cabaret-esque style, and especially capturing the time period through the use of the musical. But the rest of his movies, he doesn't have like some idol that he's trying to mimic, so it just falls very, very flat because there's nothing there.
So that makes sense. He also got hooked into the Disney type and just produced those musicals. And Into the Woods coming soon for Mark. Ready? Go Into the Woods.
Woods too.
I haven't seen it, so I'll give
it's
you that.
Wild that you like. What was it about Catherine Zeta-Jones's performance that was just so bad to you? Because I think if you take her out of this movie could be real bad.
Didn't she win an Oscar for this movie?
Yes.
I saw her when I was 13. I was like, this is what a woman is. And I saw her when I was 35. And I'm like, this is what a woman is.
I mean, God, the first time I saw her was in Entrapment. And come on, that scene on the blade. Just saying.
To me, she just feels like one of those actresses that if they weren't attractive, she wouldn't have a career. Like I have not seen her I have not done like a deep dive in her, but every time I see her in a movie, she's just serviceable in it. I think like the best I've seen her is like Ocean's 12, to where like she's not actively ruining the movie. It's just
Have you
she
seen
just
Mask of Zorro?
exists. I mean, like, what are you doing? Like, you're making my point. Like, what?
So good in Zorro.
You know what? If this is a side quest, if you ever turn into TV Chronicles and watch Mad Men, this makes perfect sense why you're attacking this female right now. I just want that on the record. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know.
Her whole thing is like having this mystique and elusiveness, and that's kind of what she's playing off in High Fidelity. And then this, she just gets to shine with that kind of edgy, kind of don't fully know what's going on with her thing.
If you're playing Mark and Melee, everybody needs to pick Catherine Zeta-Jones, buddy.
I will say I have not seen High Fidelity. High Fidelity is probably like one of her big things I haven't seen. She could be really good in that, but like at this point,
it's playing off the whole idea that she's this hard to reach person. But then Chicago, it's like it's also kind of playing off that because it's like she sees herself as this, mystique beauty, top of the top kind of women, but she's also, a murderer in prison and fighting for her fame.
And then she's being supplanted and
being supplanted as well. So I think she's good at playing off of her movie star identity. So I just
love that you said Mask of Zorro and
Mask of Zorro fucking rules.
You're making my point. What's the next thing?
I love Mask of Zorro. Now you got to overlook the fact that this Welsh woman and then Anthony Hopkins are playing Hispanic people. But once you get past that,
Spanish is still European.
I mean, if it works for Sean Connery, why
not? Anybody else? Anything else we want to talk about Chicago? Anything that we haven't touched on where we can give ratings? Okay.
I do want to give one quick defense of Gear's performance as well. Is they're all of them are giving an affected performance, and so when you're like making fun of the voice he is with singing, he's doing that to be like the 1920s "Hey doll" kind of effect to what they're singing, and I think that's why it really works because it's of what the movie is trying to do, and they're really all doing that. They just others have a little more natural singing skill.
All right, it's my movie. I'm 4 stars. I have a blast with it. I would watch it I would definitely put it on at any point. I'd have no problem watching through the whole thing. I'm 100% locked up with Brian with Renee Zellweger. Not my cup of tea at all. But overall, not the performance that like doesn't ruin the movie for me. But I think you could have cast a lot of people that would be better. Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate myself watching it, so I'm gonna give it like a solid 3.
Okay, he kept his word so far. We'll see if he keeps the rest of the night. Zach, what are you at?
I was debating really between I want to say the right number is 4.5 and 5, but nothing matters because why not just be optimistic then? So I'm gonna give it a 5. Just go on the good side. Yeah,
Brian.
Whenever I think back on this movie, I'm thinking of it like it's probably a 4-star movie for me because I'm just remembering like the musical sequences. But then when I watch it as a full movie, it probably drops to about a 3.5.
And Mark.
Yeah, this movie died for me when Jimmy McNulty died. Yeah, I'm at a 1 star. I really just, other than Richard Gere, I don't really. There's really nothing in this movie I like. I tried. I tried, guys. I did.
You can like that it wasn't 2.5 hours long.
I can say the movies for next roundtable have been selected. Mark gets a pass. He does not get a musical thrown at him next month. So he played nice. I will announce that at the end of the show. Next up, I'm trying to decide because I did not have a great time this time.
Live on
I'm gonna go to the movie that I liked the most. That's The Lonely Guy.
Who would have
I
guessed
like
that?
so I like the Lonely Guy most. So that's why I'm going. So Zach, you watched this not that recent ago, and you said let's bring it back.
Yeah, it's
Why?
like a month. It's been on my mind. I think part of the good thing of the show is you can bring these like untalked about gems, things that got left in the dust. And like I discovered, I was like, it's nothing more exciting than discussing a movie that was like barely on your radar. And like I like really love this, and I'm happy to talk about it. And that's what this is. I've been watching a lot of older Steve Martin movies. He's really one of my guys. I'm going to try to be a completist at some point. And for some reason, this one is that one that like surprised me the most, and how really funny I found it. And even though I'm doing this as a Steve Martin thing, it's really because of Charles Grodin is like giving one of the all-time funny performances to me. He's so hilarious being the sad droop of what the real lonely guy is. There's two just like throw-off moments that I've like have laughed as hard as I have in any other movie. And that's like one where he's like the phone rings, he just says like, hello, who is it? And then picks up the phone and just repeats, hello, who is it? And it's a nothing, and it's so funny. Charles Grodin, I probably should clear this up because he's one of our comedic geniuses, and this is really different than what you would have seen in Heartbreak Kid, or and if I'm blanking on all titles of movies that they did. Yeah, sure. Everything that you said that sounded like that could have been. I agree, but it also just has like the right tone throughout the whole thing. This could easily be Dretch because it's just like, what if there's just like a species of male that's just the sad guys? But I think they dig a lot of great things out of it. The second watch, I was catching myself in a little of the lonely guy mode. I was like, man, I would probably get some cutouts to hang out with. That might be like pretty chill. And so and I think post like incel culture, this does not work, but this is pre that, and there's still like a real heart to what it meant to be like a lonely guy, and a real like romanticism to it, rather than something like scary and needy about it. And just filled with great jokes throughout.
Brian, you saw this movie prior?
Well, I had seen this movie. Yeah, I'd seen it prior, but it's been like 30 years since I've seen this. I saw it back, in the 90s. Like I was alive when it came out, but I didn't see it like in theaters or anything. But then I discovered it like later on when I was working in a video store, and I watched it. I remember really enjoying this. I think I bought it on VHS at the time. But I don't think I've ever watched it in decades since then. And I rewatched it now, and I will say it's not as funny as I remember it. But I did still enjoy it. I think it's a good like mid-tier Steve Martin for me, because it's not like some of his best ones, like The Jerk and Father Bride and some of the ones I love of his, but it's not it's in one of his worst ones either, because he's made some real shit, especially like in the past couple decades. But this is kind of Steve Martin like in that window of his prime where it wasn't one of his best movies, but it was still a lot of fun. I mean, there's things I didn't like about it. There's the girlfriend, first of all, what's her name? Iris. The whole thing was just like, oh, I love you too much, and she kept leaving him and stuff like that. It's like by the end of the movie, when he caught her, I kind of wished he just like threw her in the water, because she was just annoying the hell out of me at that point. There are obviously it came out in what, 1984 was it? 83?
Yes.
I don't know. But it's there's some dated stuff in there, with Joyce Brothers and Merv Griffin and Jimmy Carter joke and stuff in there. But that's, any old comedy is going to have stuff like that, so I kind of overlook that. But yeah, this is a movie that I enjoyed. Just not when he picked it, I was like, oh yeah, that's great. I get a chance to rewatch that, and I rewatched it. And I'm like, okay, it was good. I think maybe I just built up my mind after so many years. Maybe just because I hadn't watched it in so long. I don't know.
Diet Coke, The Jerk is what I considered this, because it has the similar, like it has that same like kind of comedy.
I can see that.
Not a bad thing. It was just like, I've seen Steve Martin play the dumb, like not like there in the, which wasn't bad. Like there were parts I really loved. You were 100% right on the Charles Grodin. he made me laugh the hardest throughout the entire thing when he would say something like Steve Martin would be sitting there, it's like, I went to the doctor and can you believe they lost my blood? Like, what? Just how he delivered it, the Eeyore kind of like voice just like made me laugh. And like there was some real heart to this movie. So it kind of like reeled me in at the end. Because I was like, if I have to watch this thing for an hour and a fucking half, watching this guy just, oh, here's another cutout. Oh, he's lonely. I get it. I get the whole thing. And there's some situational comedy that I just think is just the dumbest shit ever, and it will never be funny for me as like buying the sweat from something like, oh, the sweat, the whole thing is like an athlete, and oh, I thought Larry Bird was in here. I was like,
that was like very old school SNL.
Yeah, like that made sense, but it just didn't work for me. But overall, I think Steve Martin is one of the funniest human beings that, like, when a joke hits, he has such great delivery with it, and the straight man, like basically, Charles Grodin is like the kind of the Eeyore like straight man, like dry ass comedy next to him. It worked for me for the most part, but the shit got a little old near the end. I was just like, I don't give a fuck that you're all lonely. Like I get the rest of the people. Like, sorry, it's feel bad for you, but let's move on.
I felt like him picking this movie was calling out like a large portion of his community. Just saying.
I was gonna say,
I'm starting my business, my Lonely Guy store, and I'm just recruiting through this.
He's getting a cutout. He's like, oh, is there Gene? Do you have Gene Hackman? And like, yeah, Gene, but
you gotta call him.
It has to be whatever's nuts now. It's gonna be like Michael B. Jordan and Chalamet,
yeah. Right? No, in this community, you might get some real good sales on some of these older actors. They may really love it. But overall, like it worked. Mark and Matt, what'd you guys think?
This was one I hadn't seen going into, and it was actually probably the biggest surprise out of all these for me. I really loved like the first hour or so of it. I loved it was just Steve Martin, Charles Grodin, just kind of like broing out and all like the little comedic vignettes and the throwaway jokes and stuff. But then, like Brian mentioned, like the stuff with the girlfriend that get tired really quick. Like they get together, then they break up. They get together, then they break up, and all that stuff. But yeah, like I said, the first hour, I really enjoyed it. It definitely reminded me, like almost like some of the sketch, kind of like a Monty Python's thing, but like an American version or something like that. So I really had a good time with that first hour or so there. So yeah, this was. I'm glad I got to see this one. So it's probably one I probably would have never seen if I wasn't here.
Yeah, it was okay.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is horrible. Just kidding.
I really like the concept. I really like the concept, especially when we started out and we're like, oh, there've been lonely guys across the time. So like they're going to all these places where they found these lonely guys, and I did kind of like some of the absurdist things to it. Just kind of reminds me. You said SNL. It kind of reminds me of like stuff like from the Naked Gun, like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did kind of dig that. I even think this is actually kind of a nice companion piece to something that's out like right now. Like I think it's a nice companion piece to something like Friendship, to where I think this is kind of working along a lot of those same themes. I just think the lonely guy kind of persona and kind of what they were going for, it over the course of the movie just made it feel kind of dull. And they think even though like there's some pretty good gags in it, because like I did really like whenever he's going into the apartment and he's got cardboard cutouts and it's like, oh, you got to get ferns and you could talk to him like while you're watching the game. Like I thought that was funny. And then
what about like, the lonely guy roast? The lonely guy roast, like the best bit in the movie where they're all screaming for the names of their lost loves.
That was
good. That was good.
My favorite one is the 2 times they're on the Manhattan Bridge and they just keep bumping into people that are just jumping on. like, oh, sorry. And he's like trying to look for Charles Grodin. He's like, oh yeah, you're not my friend. He's like, okay, like it's not. It just. I feel like it's on for. It feels like it's going for a little bit too long. I do feel like this is probably something that like it could be condensed to maybe like something like a sketch. It just I didn't vibe with it the entire way through, because at some point I just kind of wanted it to be over. And it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing on this panel by far. I will say that. It's just I enjoyed parts of it, and I didn't enjoy other parts of it as much. Just yeah.
The worst part for me was Iris. I just didn't like her character overall. She
I,
dragged like
I
she
really
just.
like her.
That's fair. It's just like I know he needs to find the lonely guy needs to find the love interest. I get it. I
No,
just
he
don't
doesn't.
know why they picked her.
But like she has her
just-
own little messy bit in her life too. Because for a while you think she's going to be like the curator and not serve anything more than that. But she has her own like also she just like can't get her shit together and she's a romantic mess herself. But then
It
she's
just
also
felt like
always
it's-
prepared for him with any phone number or advice on how to like what to do next. Like I know what it's like to be a lonely guy. I like her as the therapist expert.
It just felt like it sucked the like energy out for me when she showed up, and I understood the whole point. But I just wanted put them in a car and let them just Charles Grodin and then just drive away and like have their own little event. I would be on board. I just overall it just wasn't. I do like the part at the end, like he's standing on the thing. It's like it does get better. What? Like you found someone? Yeah, you did. Like so, it's like this nice little.
If anything, the Judith Ivy part is what maybe is most reminiscent of like the lightweight, the jerk, as you said, because there's a lot of similarity in her performance to I think what Bernadette Peters does in the jerk, and to a point where you kind of wish it was just Bernadette Peters, and maybe it would have been elevated a little more charm, but it still works for me overall.
This director, Arthur Hiller.
He did like the
Mhm.
Beatles movies, right? No, I'm confused. No, he did Love Story and then a bunch of comedies, like Gene Wilder movies.
Yeah, he did that. He did the hospital. which
I think
was
you're
one
muted,
of
Brian.
my-
It's like Blue Steel, right? Or not
did
Blue Steel.
Hop-
What's the
He was
train?
also president of the academy for like decades, wasn't
Yeah, that sounds
He had
familiar.
See No Evil, Hear No Evil, like
Yeah.
Silver Streak,
Oh, yeah, all the
That's what I
Gene
meant.
Wilder ones,
Instead of
yeah.
Blue Steel.
The Outer Towners. Like
Okay.
he's done some really interesting movies. Some great comedy. I've never seen Love Story, but I've seen The Hospital.
That was like the biggest hit of that year. So he was like an
yeah. And it, man, the people in the community really don't like Love Story. That's kind of crazy. I haven't seen it, but I've never seen that many like 2.5 stars from people that like love it. Anything else on The Lonely Guy?
Nope.
Get your cutout soon from Zach Ford. He'll be going on sale soon.
I do make a lot of divorce jokes to my wife on what I'm going to be like when she leaves me. And it might be fed by The Lonely Guy more because my usual thing is like I always tell her when you leave me, I'm just going to get really into frogs. Just have like frogs everywhere.
That's
And that could have been a bit of this.
You know, one thought I did have when I was watching this movie is that if they made this movie today, I think that they'd get so much shit for like just making light of suicide. All the people jumping off the bridge and stuff. I'm just watching this movie thinking people would be losing their shit over this. I'm like, come on, lighten up. It's a fucking comedy.
Yeah, there's something about comedy back in the day that just
I
didn't
think
really pull
those jokes
punches.
can still work if they're with the right tone, and I think this movie has the right tone for it. It knows how to control it. And
Oh, I have no problem with it. I'm saying there are people that would.
Arthur. Okay, I'm just now running down Arthur Hillard's filmography. Zach Ford, what is your rating?
I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Okay.
I thought that was going to get a 5 since you watched it twice in like the whatever.
You know, there's a difference between movies you can rewatch all the time and 5s. I will watch this more than Chicago.
I mean, that's not saying a lot.
Mark.
I don't know. Kind of going through his filmography too. Kind of want to watch The Babe now. See what he brought to the Babe story.
Probably not.
I give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. It was all right.
Matt.
If they would have kept up the energy the first hour, I probably would have gone higher. But I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Brian.
It's a solid 3 for me.
I am also at a 3.5. I think it was quality. I don't know how often I'll watch it, but I didn't have a terrible time watching it. Oh no, where to go?
I mean,
There's really no. I should have saved the best for last. We're in dangerous territory. I just fine.
oh, okay.
Terrible kid. Matt, I don't know the other movie, but if I could go back in time and ask for that movie, I probably would. Why'd you bring this? Tell me, because you wanted to hurt me because of the musical? Is that what's happened?
That's only a little bit, but I thought maybe somewhere deep in your soul you would have some fun with this movie. I mean, I knew it was unlikely, but I think it's like a fun little movie that probably not a lot of people have seen or heard of, but it's kind of like an homage to like a lot of like the '80s post-apocalyptic sci-fi trash films that you would see on HBO nonstop in like the early '90s and stuff like that. And it's pretty much like a Mad Max on BMX bikes. I mean, how is that not cool? You have a kid who like finds like
You
this,
just described my pain.
yeah.
The level of hate I have. It's crazy.
There's our arm wrestling champion cowboy, and you get Michael Ironside as like the villain, who he's like sitting in a chair for 90% of his scenes. That they probably filmed over a weekend. But I think it's got some really fun, some just like stupid, gory action sequences with just like blood and chaos, and body parts flying all over the place. And at the heart of it, it's got like a nice little relationship between the Turbo Kid and this companion girl who he meets along the way, who they form a bond, and she's kind of like a more or less annoying Harley Quinn, depending on how you want to look at her. But yeah, I just thought this would be a fun one to bring and talk about and see what kind of takes people had with it.
How many people saw this before? Go ahead, Brian.
No, I enjoy this movie quite a bit. It's like it came out in this time, like in the mid 2000s, when like 80s retro was like becoming a huge thing. Like Stranger Things premiered, I think, a year after this. This is about the same time that Kung Fury short came out, which I'm still waiting for that movie to finally come out. So this movie for me is more about the vibe of it, because it's like I just enjoyed the feeling of this movie. I mean, the movie starts off with like him saying whatever the company is, #1 in laser discs, and I'm like, I'm in. You got me. I'm into that 80s kind of thing. And I love these movies where it's like talking about the future, but it's the past. It's like it says the future is like 1997, I think it takes place.
Yeah.
But so it's the future, what they think it would looked like back then, even though it's like 2016 or whatever. You got the bikes, being the main form of transportation. So you got to throw back again to the 80s, kind of that BMX Bandits and Rad and all that kind of stuff that came out in the time. I just really enjoyed it. It's like the plot was kind of like, whatever, but like I said, it's more about the vibe. I just enjoyed kind of living in this world for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Because you have kind of you have all the characters, which I kind of loved the main character. I especially loved the girl's name. I've forgotten her name.
Apple,
that's what it was. Yeah. I really liked her. And actually, after I watched this movie, I kind of went down this rabbit hole and looking into stuff the other directors had done. There's a short, a spinoff of just her. I call it like No Man's Land or something like that, but actually I think it's more like a music video essentially. But it's her character basically in the event leading up to right before this movie starts. There's the original T is for Turbo is the short that this is based on. These directors have gone on to do a bunch of other stuff. There's one called We Are Zombies, I think, which I really enjoyed. They also did Summer of '84. So their kind of style kind of speaks to me. It definitely has a Canadian, because you can hear those Canadian accents sticking through once in a while, especially in Apple. But yeah, this is just a movie that it's not going to win any awards or anything, but I just had fun watching it.
This was hell. I'm not surprised that either one of the main two of this went on to do anything like noteworthy. Because they're horrible. The girl was probably the most annoying thing I've seen on screen in a really long time, to be honest with you. And then when they revealed that she's a robot, made a little bit more sense, but still pissed me off even more because change the programming, do something different. It's just everything I just don't like in a movie. Like the best way I can describe it. Well, the plot doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me. And again, everybody's like, "Who cares? The plot doesn't matter," but it does for me. Um, the the effects are low end because, of course, this movie was probably made for like $12.50. And that was probably all for the main villain. What's his name again? I can't think. Like
Michael Ironside.
Michael Ironside.
Which I
they
gotta say, I
probably
forgot he was in this because I haven't watched this in a while, and every time I looked at the poster, I swear I thought that was Paul Sorvino. And then I watched this, and I'm like, oh, Michael Ironside.
And it was just like I don't. It sounds bad, but like I hate when I have to root for people that I kind of just want the villain to kill. Like the entire time, I was like, if the villain just killed these two, and then when the girl's head chopped off, when Apple's head goes flying, I'm like, yes, and that's the wrong reaction. I'm not supposed to have that reaction, so that's how far this movie went for me. I knew I was gonna like. It's like an anime kind of feel like throughout it, and I would rather not watch entertainment than watch anime, to be honest with you. Zach, Mark, what'd you guys think?
I had a great time. Your take about Apple is really wrong because she is what I think drives the movie. She's like very charming. I think the optimism.
Yeah,
in the dark
she drives it right into a fucking cliff.
She is very much a pixie dream girl, a manic pixie dream girl. But it's okay because she's a robot. But also I just know I'm susceptible to that manic pixie type, and I'm just gonna let that be that. But she's just joyous through, and it matches kind of the energy that the film is made with. It's made with just this like pure joy and fun of making movies. There's something delightful about watching people who love movies try to make something kind of big with very limited resources. I know Brian previously brought Dave and the Maze on, and there's a similar thing to like watching what they can accomplish with the resources at hand and really just kind of this unadulterated creativity to making it happen. It's fun. They don't get any shortcuts because they don't have the money for it. So it just makes it enjoyable watching that process, and then having a character that I was happy to follow, and be my bud on the side. It was great. So I had a fun time. I like the effects, as I said, for being made so cheaply.
Yeah, Cody. You're alone on this one. I liked it too. It was a lot of fun. I didn't know who directed this before, and then Brian rattled off the filmography. I really like Summer of '84 too, so I might watch We Are Zombies tonight. Like I kind of want to go with the rest of finish up of that filmography. Yeah, this was. I mean, I think this movie definitely takes some getting used to, just because at first it feels like a movie that I would have rented at Blockbuster as a kid, because it just had a cool box and like like a kid on the cover, like, ooh, this must be like a cool, like this might be like Star Kid, or, like whatever. Just go in and pick it up, and then there's decapitated heads and F-bombs, and they got the Tarantino blood splatter guy working for them. There's just like it is just insanity from the beginning. Like, okay, I mean, I don't really feel like I fully started a vibe with it until like I think that pit fight scene where like he found the suit, and we got the cowboy guy in there. Like that's at the point where the movie really starts working, and like we just kind of we dive into the Michael Ironsides of it all. Like he's just hamming it up to just the right degree, and like this whole world has just some weird vibe to it. There's this guy with this metal mask, and he's shooting like these circular saw blades. Fucking cool, and we're all riding in on bikes because we just don't have cars, and also definitely just don't have any fucking money for cars, so we just have everybody some bikes. But nah, it is just a fun movie from beginning to end, and it does have that little bit of heart, especially with the robot girl in Apple. Like I think that relationship just really helps the movie tenfold. And then we brought in like the hard-nosed cowboy guy. Like I mean, this feels like it was made such a long time ago. Like we're probably not getting something like that. I would really hope that these guys found a way to make a sequel to this. I think it'd be awesome. I think there's a lot of untapped stuff. I think we can go back to here. It was just a fun time.
Nice.
Put that cap right back on that untapped stuff. We'll leave it alone. I'm glad. I wonder. That's wild that it took you that long into the movie to get on board with it. The suit is what kicked you into gear.
Yeah. Found it. He's like, "You're our only hope," and it's like, "Oh, he's."
And you know what? When you said you're on your,
come on.
When you said you're on your own here, Cody. Oh, believe me, I know. But the person that I don't want to take taste from is the movie that we haven't talked about yet. Okay. Yeah. And you guys.
I
can
think
keep guessing.
There's a real missed opportunity when we're talking about the bikes. They should have went all out on manual transportation. They should have had some scooters in there. There should have been more roller skates. Just have like a razor scooter.
You got to watch Solar Baby with your roller skates.
Okay.
would that have worked well on the dirt road? I feel like all that with the dirt road is what kept them from doing that.
You should just have some like wheelie.
Oh, so this movie makes any logical sense whatsoever. I would have loved a bunch of henchmen just to run the razor scooters tip over because they're on the dirt. Yeah. I'm glad, but I'm really glad we got like the origin, of like why Turbo Kid became like that was a great 10-minute sequence that we fucking needed.
What a coincidence that Michael Ironside killed his parents. That was crazy.
Oh man, when that happened, I knew I was way off board. I was like, yes, cool.
That's why he's got the eye patch.
Now, I was like, I needed a justification of why he wants to kill this guy. Please, he killed
by the way,
daddy.
His parents were 2 of the 3 directors.
That makes sense. When a guy shows up with a hockey mat and an eye patch and was like, I just need help. Like, you don't help them. Like, go get water somewhere else. Anything else in this movie?
I will just a quick correction. The prequel short about Apple is called No Tomorrow, a Turbo Kid tale, and that's on YouTube if you want to check it out.
Okay, let's check that out.
It'll probably give your computer a virus, so don't click on that. Gosh. Matt, what's your rating?
I'm gonna give it a 4. It's a solid 4.
2 stars. That's being generous. I'll be honest with you. Probably lower, but I've seen worse films. Mark.
I could see going up on rewatch. I think for now it's
That's a lot.
3.5 out of 5 stars. It's an enjoyable time.
Zach.
3.5.
Brian.
4 stars.
Good. Oh, Brian, we're gonna stay with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So Oscar is a movie that I know it's kind of a love it or hate it kind of thing, or at least there's kind of opinions all over the board. This is kind of it's Sylvester Stallone, especially back when this came out, was not known for comedy. He's the big action star, and this movie gets lumped in a lot with Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, which for me is completely unfair because that one completely sucks, and I think this one's very funny. If you don't think this one is like as funny as I do, it's definitely better to Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. So it doesn't belong in the same category as that. But I just think it's a lot of fun. I love the style of it, which I even warned you guys when I picked the movie in the chat. I said, okay, just know up front, this is like a farce. It's like one of those kind of screwball comedies. It's more like a stage because it was based on a stage play, which kind of the revolving door, a lot of identities, misunderstandings. So it's that kind of comedy, which you don't see a lot in film. I mean, there's some stuff like Noises Off and a few other ones, which are kind of like that same kind of stage farce and very fast paced. But I really enjoy this. And they spend the first kind of, I don't know, maybe half of the movie, not even half the movie, kind of introducing all the characters. And then just kind of things get crazier and crazier and the energy kind of ramps up. And it just, by the end, it's, super fast paced. So I really enjoy it. It's got a great cast of actors. I mean, it's got like a lot of great comedians in it, like Harry Shearer's in there, Tim Curry's in there, Chaz Palminteri and Peter Riegert as his 2 like main henchmen. they're the best part of the movie. They're hilarious, especially Chaz, who you don't normally see in like comedic roles. I mean, he's done a few, but he's more known for his serious stuff. He's great in this. And then even Sylvester Stallone, which I thought he was great for this role, as this guy who was a gangster who's, trying to keep a promise to his dad to go straight and get out of business, and kind of everything's working against him. And then you have, people like Marissa Tomei, who I've always loved, and you all, if nothing else, you have to thank this movie for My Cousin Vinny, because the director of that visited John Landis on this set and found her, and that's when he decided to cast her in it. So if this movie didn't exist, My Cousin Vinny wouldn't exist. So you got to give it credit for that, at least. I do think it's the kind of movie that, I think because of the pace and everything and all the misunderstandings, it's the kind of movie you have to pay attention to. It's not the kind of movie you can have on in the background or just kind of watch while you're doing something else, because once they start switching suitcases and trying to figure out who's talking about who and that kind of thing, it doesn't really work. The score by Elmer Bernstein I thought is great. It's kind of based on kind of that Barber of Seville, but Elmer Bernstein did a great score to it. It kind of keeps that same kind of speed and wackiness to it going. And I just really love this. It's probably my favorite Sylvester Stallone film. I'll say that. I love this film, and I've loved it since the day it came out, and unapologetically. And like I've even said in my previous reviews, I know not everybody will love this as much as I do, but you'll never convince me that it's not a great comedy, because I loved it.
Who has seen this movie prior? Okay. What did you guys think of it on first time watch and now on revisiting? Just like TV Chronicles, no one wants to speak first.
Go ahead, Matt. You always go for me.
I don't know if this is legitimately a great movie or if it's just the fact that I had it on VHS growing up, so I've seen it like 20 or 30 times, but I love this movie. I think the comedy in it is just fantastic. I mean, right in the beginning when you get the little claymation guys singing through the opening credits, if you're going to be on board with this movie or not. And then Kirk Douglas in the opening scene there as his father telling him to go straight and stuff. I loved him in this. And just the cast is fantastic. Brian pretty much named them all, but they all play their parts perfectly, and the music that just kind of carries everything through, and you got to kind of keep up with all the briefcases switching hands and who's got what and all that stuff, and who's going to be marrying who and all that. It's just. I have a really good time with it. It's a quick watch. It's got the pace of it is good. I think the pace of it works really well, and so I love it.
I don't think we have the same definition of pace, but that's fair.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is technically. I'm going to say technically. This is technically the third time Ryan has made me watch this movie. This is once for our match. I'm gonna count that time for Full Metal, because you have to be the reason why it was on the deep cut list.
Oh, I'm sure I was.
So they were counting that in here today. So this is the third time you've made me seen this movie,
and eventually you'll like it.
I will say this: I have gone on a slight, I guess, a slight evolution to this, because I remember hating it the first time I watched it. I was not. I mean, but you had me in this Marissa Tomei, Christian Slater fog, and half of them were good. So it was. I think part of it is that, and definitely when I deep cut it, it still wasn't a huge fan. And I will say I'm not completely out on this movie, because I do think there's things about this that work, because I think the movie does have a bit of a nice fast pace to it. There is, I think, some solid comedic elements to it, and I don't think the movie just completely falls apart or anything. I think if anything, it goes off pretty well, and there's definitely some actors that really fit this movie, like Kurtwood Smith. I think really fits this movie. Marissa Tomei fits pretty well. Chaz Palminteri, for whatever reason, really fits this movie. The one person that does not fit this movie whatsoever is Sylvester Stallone. And he is the giant problem with the movie. This movie needs a seasoned comedic actor to drive the ship. and Sylvester Stallone is not that guy. And I'm not even saying he's not he's not unfunny in the movie. I think he is funny at times in the movie. It's just this movie relies on him to be kind of like a joke machine. And I would say he probably is hitting at about, I don't know, like a 475 rate or something. Like definitely 475, like 3 something. He's definitely missing more than he's hitting. This doesn't work wholly for baseball because like
I
that
don't
I
know what
know
those
I get it.
numbers mean.
That's a good hitting percentage.
Four
Like,
seventy-five. Hall of Fame.
but I'm thinking somebody that's like just hitting all the time, like every time you get what I'm saying. But
No.
I will say this movie was first offered to Al Pacino, and it would have been way worse with him.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't
I
think that's
don't
true.
know.
Al Pacino doing comedy
I
does not work.
don't-
for me. He passed this up to do fucking Dick Tracy, which was complete ass.
No,
So-
Tracy rules. Rules
Now, if
I
they would
feel
have gone to De Niro, that would have been good.
I feel like there would have been something to it then. Like it just, I just don't really, because there's parts in this where like he has to really sell like the screwball nature of it, and I'm just not feeling it. Like he just feels so out of place here.
See, I feel like he's the straight man for the most part, with the wackiness going on around him, everything unraveling. I mean, he does have some funny lines here and there, but I think he played it well.
His issue is his timing. He's always like a half a second off. That for some reason, just the reaction. I think it's also partly within the direction and execution, because it seems like the movie's just moving a little too slower than this kind of comedy should be going. It should be a little snappier, a little punchier. But he's a little dragging. He speaks a little too slow. I also think like the two actors that came to my mind on very different sides is when you're talking about a comedic thing, and I did just watch The Lonely Guy, but also Steve Martin did My Blue Heaven. Him just kind of doing that kind of character in this, I feel like would have really worked. But then you could also really get someone who just be so playing the straight man, being so straightforward, dramatic, like taking it serious. So I was thinking like a James Caan would have been really great. Working this movie, who has proven that him to be funny, but he's just a better actor than Stallone is, that he'll be able to fit into that more.
Yeah, so my thing is I hate when comedies set up gags and like where it's going ahead of time, so it loses its thing. Like the mixture of the bags, like guarantee is gonna drop out the underwear is gonna fall out at one point. I will lose my shit. I think I don't know who would have been good for this. I have no clue. But I think like when you say Pacino, like that makes an interesting thing, because maybe a person that was in the crime genre doing the crime, like the life of outside, like trying to play straight. I just never seen Stallone as a mobster. It just didn't ever work for me. I just never seen it. Like, so it's that interesting thing. I'm not saying it didn't work. There were parts that I really liked. Like Marissa Tomei, I think is really good in this movie. I like the cast around Stallone worked really well. I kind of like the entire like police behind, like across the street, like looking into him, like their whole like back and forth. It felt like when the punchline needed to be delivered, it wasn't a punch, it was like a slap. Like it just didn't have the same hit that I wanted to. And it like, again, when I see a joke telegraphed, it just loses more steam for me than less surprise. Again, of all the things when people I saw so much hate for this movie for so long, I don't think it's like it's a typical like 90s comedy for me, like that's not like the high end comedy, like that middle of top star in a comedy like situation. So I rolled my eyes a ton, but overall I wasn't like, God, turn this thing off, because there's like no clear direction. It's written poorly, the jokes don't, like, there was stuff I get. It just seemed like I went to an open mic night and they were just bombing. Like they were trying, it just didn't hit for me, which is a lot of times. So,
yeah, I agree. There's the material is there. Like I think there's really strong stuff, and the execution just didn't match up to what could be there.
But I could also be in like Matt said. I had this on VHS. there are movies that I have that I've seen in the '90s and like that I've seen, and I'm like, you can't convince me that this is bad. Like there's something in it. There's nostalgia. There's fun. Like I remember laughing my ass off. Like, but then if I look at it through a lens that's supposed to be objective, God, I just remember the first time I watched Space Jam outside of like, I gave it 15 years, and then I watched it. I was like, what did I just do? Like this part of my brain just got ripped apart because I was like, this is the greatest when I was a kid. It's bad, but if I could go back in time and put myself back in there, I was like, nothing was better than Space Jam. You can't convince me.
I will never watch Little Monsters again because that's the movie that I know will not hold up. It was very, very important.
There are a few that I may veto on Roundtable if somebody tries to bring them up for my child. I'm like, no, it's in a vault. You don't touch it. Let's leave it where it's at.
Just bring Drop Dead Fred instead.
But I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of happy that I actually got to see this because I will say, like, this is one of those movies in this community that's like an urban legend. People talk about it. People shiver when they hear about it. Like people, like I had such a bad time watching Oscar. Brian made me do this.
This is definitely not the worst Marissa Tomei movie you would have to watch.
It has this like reputation, and for me, it's like if somebody doesn't like the movie, I'm completely okay with that. Like with Cody, I was like unsure. Like he could love this movie, he could hate this movie, anywhere in between. And I don't have any problem with anybody's opinion of this movie. What I hate is that people have like. A lot of people have opinions about this movie who have never seen it. So I'm like, just watch the movie with an open mind and then make your decision, and I'll respect it.
It's not a disaster at all.
But you can't hate Stop or My Mom Will Shoot without having seen it.
Oh, I saw I've heard of the movie. I just looked up the poster. Oh, I don't know. You know what? One Stallone comedy is enough for me. I just don't. And maybe this was the time. This is like a weird subject, but like. It was like weird when, like, I don't know when Schwarzenegger switched over to comedy, like did his run.
This
but like, was this
like
a
him trying to match?
This is probably like
was this a counter punch? Because it feels very counter punchy. Like, because I were like Kindergarten Cop, Twins, like that stuff was that stuff. So was it around that time frame where the switch, like, why he would jump into comedies too?
He's already done Twins and Kindergarten Cop at this
point. So that's
so yeah, it does feel like those two this was a counterpunch.
I think it had more to do with Schwarzenegger, Stallone kind of trying to find himself because his last couple movies before this had not been real successful, and it wasn't until like '93 when like Cliffhanger and Demolition Man came out and kind of started to bring him back. It's kind of this in between. He was like just trying different things.
Have you guys heard the story about how Schwarzenegger put it out there that he wanted to do Stop at My Mom Will Shoot?
Yeah.
And then Stallone was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna sweep it right from out of him." When Schwarzenegger knew it was gonna be horrible, he just wanted to screw over Stallone.
Yep.
That is something like, can you imagine like social media or something back then of the Schwarzenegger Stallone rivalry would be something magical.
I mean, it's Vin Diesel and The Rock now in a less exciting.
And you know what? It's just not. It just doesn't live up to the same.
I do want to say we haven't shouted out my favorite performance, which is toilet guy gets eaten on the toilet in Jurassic Park, Martin Ferrero.
The Panucci brothers are the best part. I love it.
Him and Harry Shearer together to be always funny, and especially when just the one little cut to them and there's like he's starting to believe that they're these horrible hitmen, and they're just like playing cards and talking about on the side is like extremely funny. But I only know him as the guy who gets eaten on the toilet. So it was nice to see like he's extremely like gifted comedian in this. It works really well with Harry Shearer, who I knew I liked. But
all right, we'll get ratings. Brian,
for me, 5 stars. Yeah, you heard
it. Mark,
this movie always get maybe a little bit of a bump because 90s Marissa Tomei ended up with any version of Tim Curry, so that's always fun. Give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. It's not. There's stuff there. There are things there. It doesn't come together.
Matt,
if I would watch this for like the first time yesterday, I don't know what I would have given it, but with everything going into it, I'm gonna give it 4 stars.
Zach,
2.5.
I'm also at 2.5. It's just Like I said, it feels like stand-ups that just didn't hit all the routine. But I don't think it's egregious. Like if it had to come on again, I would not be like.
I could see it getting
Unlike-
better the more you watch it.
Unlike this fucking movie.
I mean, it went up. I've seen it 3 times. I think I had it at like 1.5, 2 stars.
Yeah.
It's
I'm gonna make you
2.5.
watch
We're
it
moving
five
up.
times. You're at a 5 stars too.
All right,
Once you get to the
everybody,
20th time, it'll get up there.
before
I'll
we
give it
get
5
to
stars
this-
just so I'll stop making him watch it.
before we get to this movie, if I gave you 2 free tickets to a movie theater in the span of a week, and you went to go see Motherless Brooklyn, what's the chances of you taking that second ticket and cashing it in for another ride with Motherless Brooklyn?
I mean, do I need to like take a nap? Have I been having trouble sleeping?
No. You do this out of your own like want to go see it again. What chances are of that actually happening for you?
Probably no.
Well, there's a person on this panel. There's a
a
person on this panel that not only saw it twice in 1 week, but paid for it twice in 1 week. His name's Mark Menchaca. Loves Edward Norton with Tourette's. Go ahead, Mark. Take it away, buddy.
Okay. I'll start out by saying this. I don't know why Cody thinks I'm out to get him. There's movies that I think are interesting and I think would be fun to talk about. Or at the very least interesting to talk about. The thing that will get people going. And this particular time, this is a movie that like I just kind of checked on Letterboxd. Some people have seen it, some haven't. And it's also one of those where it's kind of sitting around that 2.5, 3-star rating, and like I just part of me is like, I don't know, like maybe they haven't seen it. I don't know what it is. Because I went into this movie kind of cold. I don't remember seeing any trailers for it. And just immediately going in, just knew that okay, this is my thing. Because I really enjoy detective stories, but not only like do I kind of like these period detective stories, but I like kind of like these modern period detective stories. Like if we're kind of like it's made like in the 90s, the 2000s, like we're getting the 50s. Like yeah, I enjoy that quite a bit, and I really found myself liking just the pace of this mystery. I like the deeper I got into it, I really liked all the characters. I liked Edward Norton in this movie. I really liked just the crew of PIs we had around here. Ethan Suplee, Bobby Cannavale, the guy from The Walking Dead, I think is really fun in this. But like, and also I think the thing that also kills me just in certain mysteries for me is like I don't think the mystery is interesting all the way through, or I kind of see. Okay. Yeah, I kind of see everything coming. Like that really wasn't the case with this one. I think the movie kind of flows really well. I know people are going to have opinions about that 100%. So you're going to get your chance to talk. I swear to God. But I don't understand where
We
like
have a
that comes from
definition of
here.
your flow.
I think this is also kind of a good, like somewhat last performance from Bruce Willis. I think this is kind of the thing that he was kind of that he can kind of do. It's something that he can just kind of show up for like a day or two and just kind of do it. I think he gives a pretty good performance here. I also really love Alec Baldwin in this movie. I think his villain performance in this really makes this movie sing. And on top of that, I think it's just a pretty well made movie. I really like the way it's shot. I think the score is really good. It's just one of those where I walked out of it. Not only did I just really enjoy the story and kind of all the pieces of it, but it's also what I thought it was pretty well made. Like shit, man. Like I think
It's got
pretty
2
good.
Wire cast members in it too. So
I mean that too. I didn't realize that this. I thought this. I didn't know we were doing Wire.
Sure you did.
But yeah, like I don't know. It was one that surprised the hell out of me walking out of it. Thought hell, maybe
I would've
people
walked
will
out of
like it. And yeah, I guess we're gonna find out here. I thought people would have liked it more, but
Oh no, you
why not?
didn't.
Let's go. That's not true at all. I thought people would like this. I didn't think people would like
I have the first question. Does anybody know this information? I didn't look it up. I should have been a better host and look it up. Is this based on a book?
Yes, it is.
And does in the book Edward does in the book Edward Norton have Tourette's?
Yes, the character does have Tourette's. But like Zach says, it's modern times.
This is where
book
I
takes
think
place
there's
in
an issue.
1999 when it was written.
Yes.
And then he waited 13 years to make a script for it, and then another 10 to make it.
Well, then he still brings it back another 50 years. So the point is, he didn't really care, I think, about the story that much. He wanted to do Tourette's. He wanted to be a detective with Tourette's. That's the part that he wanted to take out from that book. He's probably like, no director has let me do my thing. Like, I know I can do it. But this guy,
I had fun doing the score. No one's let me do anything like that since.
And it's a disaster. That's the performance. The rest of the story, the movie doesn't matter because the performance is a disaster.
So okay. So we're on the same page. Well, at least me and Zach are. This movie, regardless of where it is, I think overall, like everything in it, and this I may be the only one. It just everything feels off in this film. Like the lighting, the set, the cinematography, everything looks like the lower. Like if you went to go to the grocery store and bought all the ingredients, you just bought not the name brand, but the like Walmart Great Value brand. Like I need a cinematographer person. There's this person or this. We're gonna go with this person. And I didn't look at any of these people up. So if I'm sacrilege and I'm talking about these greats of all time, I'm sorry they did a bad job in this film. It felt like that for me. But even if I give you that everything else is fine, Edward Norton, literally, it's like we're driving down the road 70 miles an hour. Okay, I get the story. And the moment he speaks, it's like your child grabs the wheel and rips it to the right and just like ran on traffic. I am thrown every time. I find Edward Norton an annoying person overall. Not because of all the stuff of him as like a real person, like in the stories you hear. As an actor, there are moments like Primal Fear, stuff like that he's done that I'm like, great. Rounders, having fun with. But his later roles have just been, it's like every character he plays just seems like a pompous asshole. And this was a pompous asshole with Tourette's that just kept throwing me like off. And I was like, I don't even know if he truly, at this point in time, understands Tourette's. I don't know, but like, even then, I think he was like, even like taking creative liberties. It felt like at times, and oh my god, is this fucking movie boring as shit? Like, it is so boring. Like, and it's supposed to be this intrigue, and like, even I think it's said at the end of the movie, I wasn't sure, but it's like, oh, the mystery or whatever solved or whatever. It's not all about that, or like something they said that line, or I'm just like. Because nothing fucking happened in this movie. I don't really care. I don't care that Bruce Willis was not that great of a hero. Like, he was a bad guy, too. Like, cool. It was just, it's boring. And when this movie came, when I saw this movie first, like, advertised in a trailer, I'm like, this seems like something I would be interested in. But this 2-minute trailer just did fucking nothing for me. And then you made me watch the whole fucking 2 hour, 20 minute. And let me tell you, could have just watched the trailer, buddy. I don't understand you at all. You're a complex creature, and don't ever change because I have no clue what movie works for you and what doesn't. You watch Chicago and they sing and dance, you're like, Catherine Zeta-Jones, fucking terrible, garbage, horrible, fucking. No, guys, have you seen this guy? Edward Norton with Tourette's, great performance. Alec Baldwin, villain of all time. Like, I guess? Like, you're a weirdo. Everybody else, go for it. I'm sorry.
I gave you such. I was like the first one to give you a hard time when you picked this, and it wasn't even because I hated the movie. It was just because it's such a like non-existent movie. Just like pick something on a random movie generator, and then it came up. But now I watch it a second time, and I think it's a horrible movie. It's the opposite where we're like way down because I think he cannot tune his performance in the right way, and just a little overkill on it, and to where this style movie is really like trying to be this Raymond Chandler detective tale, which is pure vibes. If you watch like Big Sleep and Long Goodbye, like the stories don't make sense. That's kind of part of it. You're supposed to be just stuck in this like wheezy vibe of it all, and the coolness of it. And sometimes kind of like the slacker qualities of especially like Long Goodbye. And this keeps taking you out of any vibe it can possibly create, because every 10 seconds he starts saying chicken fuck, and you just don't know what like kind of movie you want to make. This does seem like a vanity piece. That's all it comes out to me. It's like it was a performance he thought he was about to win his Oscar, and he was doing for himself. And I think there's 3 really bad performances in this. I think Willem Dafoe is also a disaster. He just did not find the pitch. And I love Dafoe and like everything. And Alec Baldwin, I was laughing as you're saying he was the greatest, because he came in for 1 take. I think he did 2 hours on this movie. It's a really firm mixture of Ben Garrigan, Ross, and 30 Rock Jack Donaghy characters put together, and it's just Alec Baldwin auto-tune at this point. He's going, says some Alec Baldwin things, and then time to go get my reality show taped. And that's just kind of what it is. So it's a bad movie. Gugu deserves better. Gugu deserves better in life, not just in this movie, but in everything.
You're muted, I think.
When you said Oscar performance, it reminded me of the people that when you used to watch American Idol in the early 2000s that went in there and were ready to go be a star, and then they'd open their mouth and it'd be the most tone-deaf performance you ever heard, and they'd think they're great. That's how this performance felt for me the entire time. Like, he thought he was killing it while everybody else was grabbing tomatoes and ready to chuck him. Like, he was cooked. He thought he was cooking, and then just everybody's like, the fuck's he doing here? Like, and he directed, like, bad. Go ahead. Sorry, it's the other 2.
Well, for me, it's like I had seen the trailer way back, when it was first coming out, but I never saw the movie, and then I'd kind of forgotten about it. And then when Mark picked it, I'm like, what? I'm not going to rewatch the trailer. I just want to go in knowing nothing, go in cold, watch the movie. And the movie starts off, it's got kind of that noir music, and it's kind of the crane shots coming down on that car. And I'm like, and then this is like 5 seconds into the movie, and Ed Norton starts with his tics and his talking, and I'm just like, oh fuck. I'm like, 2 hours and 25 minutes of this shit, because I was like, we're in trouble. And it's funny because my wife's in the room. She's like, what? Actually, you hear me? I said, I went, oh fuck. And she's like, what? And it's like I was rolling my eyes and I was annoyed by it. And to me, him having Tourette's added nothing to the story. There was nothing in the story that could not have happened exactly the same without his character having Tourette's. So it seems like he was just there for him to try, like you said, trying for his Oscar role, and it wasn't going to happen for sure on this. And then to make it even worse, like towards the end of the movie, especially like the last half hour, there's like those scenes like Alec Baldwin and 1 or 2 others. They just kind of forgot about it. Like suddenly he didn't have Tourette's. And they he'd go for like whole scenes without doing any of it. And it's like, well, I thought it was this big recurring.
He was probably chewing gum for those scenes.
I guess however they want to wrap.
And it's like the characters didn't even react to, like, I thought that I was going to be bullied or whatever. They just kind of just went, okay, well,
They used to it.
I mean, a lot of times,
Yeah,
whenever
but, like, we don't
he'd
know.
apologize.
Yeah, he interrupts
and
the
have
jazz
this thing, but
concert, and they're just like,
okay,
cool,
whatever.
you understood the music.
But they can't hear.
You just
They're
got
playing the fucking music. What are you talking about?
But I actually was interested in because this is the only movie this week that I had not already seen in the past. So I was actually kind of looking forward to watching this, and especially because I like a lot of people in the cast. I like Bruce Willis. I like Ed Norton in some things. Gugu Mbatha Raw, I love her. You got Leslie Mann. You got there are tons of people in this movie that I really like. So I was looking forward to it. But I was just besides Edward Norton. I just didn't really love the performances across the board. Bruce Willis, this is the last real movie Bruce Willis made before he just made 26 VOD movies, to make some money before he, retired because of obviously his medical conditions. I'm kind of relieved he died in the first 10 or 15 minutes of this movie because it was kind of painful to watch him. He was like, delivering lines that 1,000-yard stare. He basically has like 2 main scenes in this movie. That first one, he's kind of like leaning in the car talking to Ethan Suplee and Ed Norton. And you can like watch his eyes looking across the other side of the car where I'm sure they had like cue cards up for him to read. And it's just like, I was so glad that he died early on. Because I'm like, I can't watch Bruce Willis act like this for the next 2 hours. So kind of happy about that. Like Mark said, I didn't really care about the story, the actual mystery, the politics of it all. It's like it didn't interest me at all, which made it hard for me to like really get into the movie. At one point, I decided to do a time check because it felt like it was like maybe getting towards the end. It's like still had another fucking hour left. And then it finally felt like it was wrapping up. I'm like, okay, this is clear. Everything's wrapping up because the mystery has been solved and all this. And so I look again, there's still another half hour left of this movie. And so I finally get to the end, and it's just like I just didn't care about this at all. I mean, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. I would write it off as just kind of like an average, forgettable film that didn't appeal to me personally, except for Ed Norton and his whole Tourette's bullshit. That just brought this even farther down for me.
Yeah, so Edward Norton is, of course, one of my favorite actors. And so on paper, this movie, I should have been like all in on this movie. But I saw the trailer and it looked horrible. So I didn't even go see it in theaters. I think I saw it when it finally came out on like home video or whatever. And then I just forgot all about it. It was just such a forgettable movie. So going into this, I wasn't really expecting much. But, I didn't hate the Edward Norton performance. And it does have a lot of good actors. You can definitely tell Edward Norton was just like calling in all sorts of favors with all his friends and stuff to get them to pop in for like a day or two to do this movie. But yeah, the story is just so boring. I watched this Saturday morning after I had my morning coffee, and I was struggling to stay awake through this thing. The pacing is just so slow.
I watched it in 3 days.
That's how I could like imagine Mark, like, because I could like imagine Mark like thinking this like a 3-part Netflix miniseries. So that I feel like that's how he views this movie. But yeah, it's just I wish that they would have kept it in the modern day setting, and I wish that someone other than Edward Norton would have directed it. I think that if you would have kept everything else, maybe it could have worked, but it's just no.
What did you mean, Mark, by flow?
I don't know. I just feel like it takes us through the mystery in just kind of the right way. And just like kind of learning everything and then just kind of getting to figuring out what exactly like Frank had hid away. Like it always feels like we're trying to find something out. And there's this kind of piece of the puzzle that like I just kind of want to figure out it. Like because I do find it interesting that I'm the only one who doesn't really find this movie boring at all. Like just because
you should just read the book instead.
Like I'm kind of curious to read it. Like just to give an idea that like I don't need to know. I need to prove that this was the last because I saw all 5 movies yesterday. I didn't really have a bunch of time during the week, so I just watched them all yesterday. This is the last one I saw, and my plan was I'm just gonna watch like enough of it. I'm just gonna watch maybe like half of it, maybe go to bed, and then try to catch like the rest of it. I just ended up watching the whole thing yesterday. Like I was into it beginning to end. Like this movie just vibes for me. And like the Edward Norton thing of it all, like that doesn't bother me at all. Like I thought like it was kind of a fun thing, just in the sense of, like this is the thing.
I like this.
Who are you?
You're like Motherless Brooklyn really captured the era. Chicago, why the fuck they speaking like that?
Oh my God, Richard Gere had somebody else tap dance for him, and then I couldn't unsee it. And you sitting here with Motherless Brooklyn, be like, I don't know what you guys are feeling. It's the vibe. You just gotta feel the ride. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Because they sang? You were pissed because they were singing?
I mean, that has a lot to do with it.
I will say, started swearing in the middle of a musical number.
I shouldn't be surprised because when we watch TV shows and like me and Matt were like, "Oh, fucking this like this doesn't work for us." I don't know, guys. I kind of enjoyed it. It makes perfect sense because you just like the direct opposite. But I have no clue where this movie.
Motherless Brooklyn is the coolest nickname to be called a bastard. Like if I was gonna be a bastard, at least call me Motherless Brooklyn, Motherless Cleveland.
Gosh, you were so like. This is a dynamic that will just never change. Mark, what's your rating on it?
I don't know, Zach. Like Motherless Uvalde just doesn't have like a really cool ring to it. Like,
that doesn't age well.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, especially after looking through my 2019, this is still firmly like I think in my top 5 2019 that year. I really, really like this movie.
I need the rest of the 5.
Yeah, it's a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love
Yeah, after
this.
this is over, I want to hear the top 5 of 2019 from you.
I need. We might get people over to TV Chronicle. Join us on Thursday. We're gonna break down Last of Us
I
season
hope he has, like,
and
Motherless
March.
Broken 3 and Parasite 4.
Like that. Zach, where are you at?
A 1.5.
Brian.
It's not good. I mean, there are some things liked about it. Like I said, there's some good performances. I liked Gugu and Beth Ra in it. I liked a few other people. I didn't hate the cinematography and some of the technical aspects of it and the production design and stuff, but I can't go higher than 2.
Dude, I just took a glance at 2019. I don't know if it sniffs the top 50. That's crazy. Matt.
I came in here at the beginning of the show ready to give this thing 3 stars, but you guys have like, I mean,
don't let them convince you.
I didn't hate the Edward Norton stuff as much as you guys did. I thought it was okay.
But he's your boy, so
yeah, that's true. So I'm preconditioned, but so I'm gonna give it just right smack on the middle, 2.5.
I can live with that.
I was sitting here the entire time. I was like, it's probably same as Turbo Kid. He's probably 2. No, it's 1.5. It's so fucking boring, and the acting is so bad on top of it, and everything feels cheap. It just feels weird. So yeah, sorry. That's the ruling. Just like I said at the beginning, not this upcoming Monday, but next Monday, I will do the Act 2 recap for movie Melee. Championship week is coming up this week. We have title matches. Pay attention to that. It's great. We'll be advertising that. TV Chronicles live this Thursday. And then we'll have our show like we're continuing each week. Shield, Mad Men, and The Sopranos. I've put in time codes starting now at the bottom. We have Sight and Sound Breakdown. Kirk, Barr, and Payson, they're breaking down Sight and Sound lists. It's Brian. It's currently Brian's favorite show on the channel. He loves those films. Not fully, but soon at some point, Blockbuster Brawl will be debuting. So if you want to be on a team or want future, make sure you message Coho and Brian. Not fully developed, but we have a show coming with Brian at some point this year. So look up for that. Next June 22nd is the next roundtable, and the panel is Spence, Mark, me, Joseph Olivas, and Dylan Van Thine. And the movies that we have coming on for that one is Ransom, The Trial, the Orson Welles directed movie, I think. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Good Morning Vietnam, and just before our USA, we're watching The Patriot. So double Gibson. And that should be a wild time with the panel we got. Can't wait for that. Check that out. I think that's all I have to plug right now. So thank you so much for being on. And we will catch you next time. Bye.